Hello and welcome to this episode of the Warpath Podcast. I'm Robert Villafranca, and today we are visiting with Jacinto Rodriguez, Harlandale High School class of 2002, and I'm going to introduce him just a little bit. But I'm going to tell you that if you are needing an introduction, you probably don't have a television, or you're probably not making it to the movies, or you're not following Warpath, because this December we shared some great news about Jacinto. He had landed a role with Landman, and we're going to let him tell that story in a minute. But the post was seen over 60,000 times. It had a reach of over 45,000 viewers, and certainly created a little bit of buzz in our Warpath social media community. And I just felt that we needed to circle back around and to tell a little bit more about your story, Jacinto. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us.
Absolutely. I didn't know it got that many views.
Oh yeah, a bunch.
Oh wow.
It was just hitting bing, 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 and it just and that's one of the things that I'm doing that I'd like to do with this venture, this podcast, is that when we post something that obviously creates a little bit of buzz and needs a little bit more than just the blurb that we put on social media, we'd like to circle back around. You were a candidate. As soon as that happened, I said, we got to get Jacinto on a podcast.
We're happy to be here, man.
Thank you for taking the time to do so. Jacinto Rodriguez is a member of the Harlandale High School class of 2002, and a very interesting story to tell. Your resume, Jacinto, is your IMDb page is getting longer and longer. Yep. Troublemaker, Pitch Perfect 2, Queen of the South, Queen Sugar. Here most recently, Landman. Tell a story about that. And I thought, and Bring It On. I think that was your first venture movie out. Yep. So we're certainly want to hear the stories behind those roles, and we want to learn more about you. So we'll start off like we do on these podcasts. Jacinto, tell us a little bit about, before we get to your acting stage, your acting era, tell us a little bit about growing up in this community and some of your experiences here at Harlandale and before Harlandale.
Well, I grew up right down the road from Harlandale. I used to walk to school every morning, and one of the funniest memories I remember, all the stray dogs. I had to walk, and just to say, I got my cardio in. I got my morning run sometimes, and it was always having to watch my back, see where they were, because they come in packs, man. So one comes out, and then all the other ones chase, and once they get going, you got to get going, or you can get jumped by the stray dogs. But that's one fond memory I remember. But I haven't been here since I graduated. So as you saw when we walked in, I was just like, wow, just a flood of emotions and just good memories from fun times, breakdancing in the hallways and getting in trouble by Mr. Revelo. He was one of the principals back then.
He was not a breakdancing fan?
He was not in the halls.
Not in the halls, okay.
And I understand liability, and but just good times and good people, good teachers. From starting off here on stage in musical theater to eventually joining the cheerleading squad and doing competitive cheerleading, that right there just changed the trajectory of my whole life and my career, man. So it's good being back here. And I'm still blown away just sitting here and doing this podcast. But such an honor it is to be here and doing this, man.
Well, it's a beautiful auditorium. The community has recently passed a bond, and the leadership has done a great job. We've posted some pictures of this auditorium, but it's amazing, isn't it?
It looks fantastic.
It's they've done some things with the stage to make it UIL, according to UIL regulations, and you can compete here and so forth. But so the acting bug for you was, you can date that one back to Harlandale High School.
Since I was a kid, that was always the childhood dream.
What was your first role? In a school play, or what's the first role you remember?
It was Cinderella, but it was like a modern version of the time then. And I went to Rayburn Elementary School, and I joined the theater program. And I was the prince in Cinderella and learned choreography. That was my first intro to everything. It was on stage, and from there I joined the musical theater program at Harlandale Middle, and I did that for the whole time I was there. And then I joined the program here in Harlandale, and it was my sophomore year where I made the change, and cheer kind of took over my life for a while. And then after that, I got a scholarship to college. I went to Navarro, And I went there for a little while, competed with them, and we won our year that we were there, won our big national event. And then from there, I moved to Houston, and I went to U of H and cheered there for a little bit. And I really wanted to just get into entertainment. Mm-hmm. And when you start pursuing a path, it's like the universe brings other people, like-minded people, across your paths, and you cross paths with these other people that are doing the thing. And it's really through my experience, that's what's happened. It really has. So my roommates in Houston, I was telling them that, I wanted to be in movies and stuff. And I was still breakdancing back then. I was still tumbling. And they told me they had a friend that moved to Los Angeles, and he pursued a dance career, and he was very successful. We had a couple movies underneath his belt. One of the movies being Bring It On 3. Wow. And then they popped in the VHS tape into the VCR at the time, when we had VCRs. And they showed me a Sprint commercial that he was in, and he was flipping in the Sprint commercial. And I was like, dude, that's what I want to do. Well, I ended up meeting the guy, and I asked him for advice, and he gave me some advice. And I took the advice and ran with it. And next thing you know, me and him were auditioning for Beyonce together. And then a couple weeks later, I call him. I'm like, hey, man, what other auditions are happening? And he said, we have an audition for Bring It On 4 in Orlando at the end of the month. I bought my plane ticket the next day. I flew to Orlando. There's over 1,000 people that auditioned for the movie. They only chose 50. And that was my first movie, man.
Out of 1,000, and you got the role.
Oh, that was my first movie. And it was the hardest, best learning experience ever. From just really learning the definition of just locking in and focusing and just ignoring everything around you. So, because the choreographer, he was a tough guy, man. He had a tough job. He had to go from 1,000 to a 50. So I remember when I walked in and he taught the choreography, he was like, all right, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Got it? Moving on. And I was like, whoa. And he was like taking 50 people at a time. And he'd be like, once we would perform it, he'd be like, okay, you, step over here. Rest of you, thanks for coming. And I said, whoa. He goes, y'all hang around. So he had to kind of weed out. There was different layers to it. So once he weeded out a certain amount of people, he brought the people back that he told to stick around. And then he repeated the process until he was down to his 50.
Wow.
And that was just an overwhelming experience. And then I remember going back when I booked the job, and I was there for 3 months at Universal. That's where we filmed most of the movie. And it was tough. I got there at 7 a.m. We had rehearsal till 5 for the first month and a half, just straight learning choreography. Boom, 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 boom. Repetition after repetition. I must have lost like 30 pounds when I was there. I was skinny, man. And there were tough rehearsals. He was a tough guy. If we would mess up, he'd let us know. And I was like, all right, man. I had a big pinch me moment. And it's like every single movie that I've done then, that feeling, those butterflies that I get, that the butterflies of excitement, like it's my first time on set, that never gets old.
Right.
It never gets old. And but it was a good learning experience in the fact that I left there better than when I got there. And that was my introduction to LA and the whole movie biz. And me and the choreographer are good friends to this day.
How about that?
And I still have some longtime friends from that movie set that I see from time to time still. And that's when I started going back and forth Los Angeles and went from there, man.
Wow.
And I got my agent and the auditions started happening. And it's just been a blessing, man.
I want to bring you back just a little bit, Jacinto, back to 2001 or 2000 when you were still here. Mm-hmm. And you talk about the universe converging for mm-hmm. you on dreams. And you had the goal of being in the theater or mm-hmm. acting. Mm-hmm. And then cheer presented itself. How did that happen here at Orlando? Was it something that you saw what they were doing and you said, well, let me go try that? Or did somebody come to you and say, no, I understand you can do this? Or how did that converge for you?
I got to give all the credit to my sister and my mom. So my sister, I'm the oldest of four. My younger sister was the cheerleader. And she had a performance at a park one morning. And I was going to go over to my friends and practice breakdancing. That was like what I did on my spare time. And my mom, she's scary as 5'1" woman here. She pulls out the chanclas. She means business, man. And so she said, "You're going to go see your sister." So she made me get up, and I went to go see my sister. And there was, they call it Pop Warner. She was part of a Pop Warner program. And there was also an all-star program there. And I recognized two of the guys that were on there. I went to elementary school with them. And then I recognized another guy that was on there. He was a break dancer that can flip. And I went up to him like, hey man, this is how you're learning how to flip? Yeah, man, we do tumbling classes and da-da-da. I was like, oh, well, he's doing this. I gotta check this out. So I went to my first cheer practice and been doing it ever since.
Wow.
It's crazy. So yeah, I joined it, and I fell in love with it. And you couldn't get me out of the gym, man. I was in the gym all the time. And well, then we went to a camp, and Hardendale was at the camp, a summer camp. And the coaches were like, hey, we want to talk to you. You go to Hardendale? Why don't you join our squad too? And that's when I joined it. Yeah, so, and then got a cheerleading scholarship. Man, other than having that dream of pursuing entertainment, I had zero clue what direction to take. I was lost. I just knew that was the dream. Mm-hmm. And taking the first step is where it starts.
Well, and I'm not sure how many people follow cheerleading at the college level, but Navarro has got a great legacy, a tradition for cheering and winning national championships. So what a connection that was. And boy, it's just amazing to see how the universe did kind of come together for you and for your dream. And
that was tough work too, man. Oh gosh. Going from San Antonio to this small town, Corsicana, was like a culture shock for me. I had never really been anywhere else outside of the South Side.
Right.
And so when I went there, it was just like, whoa. It was life put itself in front of me. And I said, okay, well, I got a job and, start paying my own bills and all that stuff, and had to balance that in school and cheer at the same time. That was hard work, and it helped me build thicker skin, which helped me in everything else that I pursued after that.
And from there to the University of Houston, and then to Los Angeles and Hollywood. And so that was Bring It On, right?
Yes.
That was Bring It On. That was your
Bring
first.
It On was the first film.
Your first film. And then from there, Troublemakers or Pitch Perfect 2?
Yeah, well, from there I did a couple commercials. After I got done with Bring It On, started going back and forth Los Angeles.
With dance and so forth?
Just
even
dance.
The commercials incorporated your dance skills and so forth?
Oh, yeah. So after Bring It On, I started going back and forth Los Angeles, and I took a few acting classes out there, and I would take dance classes out there. Man, talk about the mecca of just top-notch dancers.
Oh my goodness,
it was incredible. The intricacy of the choreography that you would learn out there was just on another level. Like, whoa, like nothing I thought Bring It On was hard at first until I got to LA and I started taking classes. Mm-hmm. And that right there it increased just my brain muscle, that muscle that you use to pick up stuff. It got to a point to where they can do a number in front of me and I could just learn it by watching it. And anybody could do it. You just got to train that muscle up there. Mm-hmm. And then with acting, it does take some memorization. Starting out as far as like reading the script, and sometimes you could just get to a point where you could read the script and you got it. Mm-hmm. And there's certain techniques behind that. But yeah, I started going back and forth Los Angeles, doing dance auditions, and then I got back to Houston and I got my first agent, and then I started auditioning. And then when I started auditioning, I was taking acting classes in Houston and balancing that in school and work, and booked my first commercial, and the perseverance really started from there, because my very first audition, professional audition with an agent, was for Burger King, and I booked that, and I was like, man, I got this down to a science.
Top of the world.
No, I didn't. Yeah, because I can tell you the next 100 auditions I did after that, I didn't book anything, and for a second, I had a thought of doubt. Like, maybe this is not meant to be. And I was like, nah. Next audition I had was a movie called Pitch Perfect 2. And it just kept going from there.
Landed that one.
Yeah, so it's like you for me, going to acting classes and going to auditions, whether I booked the audition or not, or I got really close or not, those were lessons on its own. Because I would also go to workshops where certain casting directors were there. And some of the casting directors that were there teaching the workshop, I would ask them questions that pertained to my audition. And I was like, what could I have done different that could have leveled up that audition that could have got me closer to booking the role? Because, man, I auditioned for so many things. Spy Kids, auditioned for Dusk Till Dawn, Friday Night Lights, and the list goes on and on and on. And I got really close to booking these jobs, but didn't get them. Mm-hmm. So when I remember it was for Spy Kids, and I'm sitting down in a chair like this, right? And the casting director's like over here, and I'm looking at her and I'm talking to her. I'm like, okay, so I'm in a spaceship, right? I asked her, what could I have done different that could enhance my audition? She goes, well, you could have done this. She gets her chair and she turns it to the side. And this blew my mind. I'm like, why didn't I think about that? So simple, but so effective, So I started to learn to not give myself these blocks, these limitations, right. Feeling like I'm frozen here and I have to be here when it's my audition. I can do whatever I want.
Exactly.
And the director, which is the casting director at that point in time, will direct me. So I'll try this and do it with this and da-da-da. And then to take ownership of your auditions, that's a very, very important lesson to learn. And once I started learning that, that's when I started experiencing more success.
Well, I've got to say there's a couple of things that you've said, Jacinto, that I think just terrific mindsets, mm-hmm. because the rejection that you have to, I'm a quote unquote rejection,
sure. Yeah.
that you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. I know that the Harlandale community has a term, Lince a los Indios.
Let's go, baby.
And
yes.
So, you really had to incorporate that mm-hmm. in your acquiring your goals. And then the mindset for what could I have done differently instead of being stuck in this is the way it should be, this is the way I want to do it. But, so that's, those are, I would say that mindset is responsible for your success as your acting skills or your gymnastic skills or so forth. I'm really impressed by that. So Pitch Perfect too. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I think you've done Queen of the South yep. and Queen Sugar. Yep. But I do have to come back to Friday Night Lights because I was a big fan. Did you audition for the movie or for the streaming series? This show? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I am a big fan of Billy Bob Thornton. We're going to talk about him in a minute too. And he was in the movie, Billy Bob.
Yes.
But I want to get to Queen Sugar, Queen of the South. Jacinto, when we were getting ready for this visit, mm-hmm. you told me a story that was just incredible.
Yes.
And it involves another Harlandale alum. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want you to tell the story. I think this was getting a role in Queen Sugar.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And tell me about the time frame for that.
Okay, so Queen Sugar. I was on 4 of the 7 seasons.
So and the years that was happening?
Oh gosh.
In the teens?
No. I was I must have been like 31. So that was about 11 years ago.
Okay. So in the teens, 20 teens in there somewhere, right? The 13 or 20.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. I was like, no, I was already in my 30s.
Right.
Like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah, not your teens, but the millennials teens.
Yes.
So so that's what we're talking about. That's a time frame that we're talking about in your career.
So, so I remember I was working out in the morning. I get a call from my agent and it was like 7, 8 in the morning. She was, hey, you have an audition for Queen Sugar. And I said, okay. She was, but you got to leave right now because it's today in New Orleans.
And what were you doing at the time?
I was working out.
You were working out.
So I told my workout partner, I go, I got to go. And I went to my car, ran home, I changed, and I drove 6 hours to New Orleans. And while I drove to New Orleans, I'm trying to read the script and memorize it as I go. And it was a very emotional scene. It was a crying scene. And it was all Spanish-speaking role. And I had heard about this job because one of Harlandale alumni, also a family friend, Mari Carmen Lopez, I had heard was doing some work on it.
On Queen Sugar.
Yep. I didn't know.
Mari Carmen is class of 2007.
Yep.
Yeah, 2007. Yes.
And she's my cousin's best friend.
Okay.
I mean, I would see her at family functions all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm over there seeing my cousin and she's there with my other cousin, my cousin's sister.
And let me back up just a little bit. Mari Carmen is also an actress. She's,
Yes,
and
yes.
She has some roles, and she
and she worked on Univision for about
Univision for a number of years.
A number of years, and moved to LA, and she started pursuing acting, and she's just awesome. She's got a beautiful family now, and yeah, I love that girl.
So a family friend. Let's get back.
Family friend. I remember seeing on Facebook that she was doing something Queen Sugar cool. I hadn't put the two pieces together. So I'm driving to New Orleans. I did the audition, and I found out about a week later that I booked it. I'm like, sweet. So when they sent me the master script, on one side of the script, it says the character's name, and across from it, it says the actor portraying the character. So my scene, there's a translator in my scene, all Spanish-speaking role, and they're delivering some sad news to me, and she's translating for me. Well, the translator, when I looked across to see who the translator was, it said Mari Carmen Lopez.
My goodness, that's incredible.
And I said, what? No way, man. No way. What are the odds? What are the odds that I would pursue my path this way, she pursue her path this way, and the universe brings us here?
That's just amazing. And so
That's
Queen
so
Sugar, we're going to have to dig up that episode.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to get that scene. Member of the Harlandale High School class of 2007, and a member of the Harlandale class of 2002, sharing a scene.
Sharing the big screen.
Wow.
On the Oprah Winfrey Network.
On the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Man.
That's right. Yeah.
So I remember when I got to set, I was so excited to see her. And the set was shot inside a house, inside the living room or something like that. I remember I walked in, and all the actors were around the table, and there she was, and she looked at me, and we gave each other the biggest hug. And she was like, I was excited to see your name on the script. I said, me too. And we killed it. We did an awesome scene. And yeah, we've always kept in touch, but you know, she's been there for the rest of my journey since then. I've been there for the rest of hers, and yeah.
And I think Mari Carmen's still living in California. She's still
in Los Angeles.
Out of Los Angeles.
She's still there.
So that what a story. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible is not a strong enough word for it. It's just incredible. So that was Queen Sugar and Queen of the South. I'm trying to place these in order. After Queen Sugar? Or
I did
before?
Queen of the South first.
And then Queen Sugar.
Yep.
And then most recently, Jacinto, we actually, in the history of Warpath on social media, we've given you two shout outs that I can remember. One was on the Pitch Perfect role that you had gotten there. And then here more recently, Landman, you land a role in Landman. And Billy Bob Thornton, you share the screen with Billy Bob Thornton. Tell us about getting that position, getting that role, and leading up to the scene. And we're gonna show the scene here when we do the podcast. But you pull a gun on Billy Bob Thornton. So I want to know, reading the script and saying, I'm going to do what? And I want to know about that. Getting the role.
So I remember when I got the audition. I saw Landman, and I'm like, Landman, it hadn't come out yet. There was no trailers yet. It hadn't started.
John Hamm, Billy Bob Thornton,
Demi Moore, Emilio Rivera, also from San Antonio. Shout out, bro. And so I got the audition, and my buddy owns a cheer gym called Spirit Athletics Gyms here in San Antonio, and I was like, I need to submit this right away. So he has zero acting experience. Zero. Never, ever. So I said, you want to be my reader? And he said, yeah, I can do it. I'm like, all right. So we went over the lines a couple of times, and I was shocked. I was like, dude, that was pretty good. Just film it. So we got this broken tripod he had, and I got to balance my phone, and we filmed it there at his studio. And he just so happened to have some tall black curtains, so I had a backdrop. I'm like, cool. And I added my own little improv to it. And we did like 2 takes. And I'm like, I think that's good. And I sent it in. I want to say like a week later, I got a call and they said, you booked the role.
That was the audition process.
That was the audition.
You were videoing yourself. And, with a reader.
With a reader who has zero acting experience. And it worked.
It worked.
So I was like, dude, you're my good luck charm, man. Yeah. So he helped me film a couple other things after that. So I found out a week later, I booked it. It was going to film in Fort Worth. So they flew me out. I had just moved back to San Antonio, I remember. So they flew me out here to Fort Worth. And then I went to hair and makeup, tried on a couple of different costumes, kind of the process. And I was off for like 2 days. So I kind of just hung out at the hotel, went over my lines a couple times. And then it was the day to film. So driver picked me up in the morning. We went to set. I got dressed. I went to hair and makeup. And I'm sitting outside my trailer because I think the AC was out. And it was hot. It was like mid-June.
It looks hot.
Mid-June in the middle of nowhere on a big ranch in Fort Worth. It was hot. So I'm sitting outside. There was like a little breeze. And there's Billy. At this point, I hadn't met him yet.
You hadn't met him yet. You're gonna share a scene with him.
And he was probably 12 feet away from me.
Right.
And I said, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" And I was like, "You look good, man." He's like, "Thank you. You too. You too." And that was my first introduction to Billy, man. And then we got to set, and me and him hadn't conversated yet at this point, other than that brief hello. So we got to set, and we did rehearsal, and we probably filmed this like 30 times. There was like a truck scene. Everything's filmed in sections, and it's not necessarily filmed in order as to when you see it on TV.
Right.
So we filmed the truck scene where we kind of come in hot. We did that a whole bunch of times. And the props they gave us, the gun prop they gave me, was like I had tight pants on. It was like poking at me here. And the first scene I had to jump out of this truck, right? Well, the truck was pretty high. So it's like every time I would jump out of the truck, it was like and then I had to walk up to Billy. And then after we got done filming that scene, I had to go and get back on the truck. So I had to get my leg up and grab onto the handle like that and pull myself up. I'm like, man, I hope that looks good on camera, man.
It worked.
It worked. So then shot that a bunch of times, and then the camera, they did a close-up on each of our faces, and that's when we really turned it on. And so I did.
It's a very intense scene.
Thank you. So what I learned from that, what I learned from Billy, which was crazy because I've been watching him since I was a kid. You know, he was on Blood In, Blood Out, Jesse Borrego, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, he played Lightning. So I've been watching him since then, and I've watched his career kind of take off. Because I remember watching other movies that's like Tombstone, and he had like maybe 2 scenes in that movie. You know, and then there was another movie with Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore he did, and he had like 2 lines in that movie. From that to what he's done with his career has been amazing. So I was studying the guy, even though I was actually like in my zone. I was there and I was watching him. He's so subtle. It's almost like he's just saying the words, and low key had a smile on his face. And I was like, I wonder if he's gonna take it up a notch because I am pulling a gun on his face. And I remember at one point, one of the directions the director gave me, he came out, he was like, hey, that improv you did, he's like, just take it out. And this one, he goes, I want to bring you down a little bit because I was way more intense than what you saw, what they ended up using. And he goes, I want to bring you down a little bit. I go, okay, yeah, you just want me to say the words? He goes, just say the words. I'm like, you got it. So I went there and I did as he said, and Billy maybe took it up about that much, man. And I was so intrigued. I was like, huh, okay. So we did the scene. The scenes worked. Everything was good. It felt good. And in between takes, when they were rearranging cameras, we conversated a little bit. Such a cool guy, man. So cool, down to earth. We were just talking about food. And he was talking about San Antonio. He's like, you know, I've been there for a premiere one time. There's that one restaurant I went to. And I said, Mi tierra. He goes, that's the one.
That's it.
I'm like, how did I know? And, you know, we talked about traffic. Yeah, just a great guy. So we finished filming our scenes, and then when the episode came out, I was thinking about what I just talked about, what I had learned, how I had to bring it down a little bit. And when I saw the performance, I said, huh, that worked. And I could have probably brought it down a little bit more, you know. And it just it was like a master class on its own working with this guy.
Wow.
Because when I remember seeing his performance in person, and then seeing it on the big screen, and I said, dang, that worked. Yeah. It was so cool, man. Wow. So cool.
You know, well, I'm a big fan, and you know the role that he plays in Landman. I don't know that you're familiar. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Fargo. He had in one of the seasons of Fargo, he is a villain, and it's just classic Billy Bob Thornton. So what you're telling me, I'm so glad that you're telling me he's a good person.
Oh, he's a great person,
because I sure enjoy watching him, and I enjoyed that scene. Was just incredible.
Thank you very much.
Too.
I was proud of it, most definitely.
Is it a recurring? Is it a recurring role or?
Depending on how they write the script,
Uh-huh.
it is in my contract that the possibility of a recurring role.
Mhm.
So if they want to bring my character back, it's in the contract.
Who do we write? Who do we contact? Bring the character back. Bring the character back. And that, Jacinto, I think that's your most recent role.
Yeah, I'm up for a couple other things right now, but si Dios quiere, that's the way it goes.
Si Dios quiere,
And just
exactly.
one step at a time, one job at a time.
Well, and you say si Dios quiere, and that brings back to mind that another thing that I know about you, Jacinto, is that you are big on giving back, remembering your roots, remembering your community, and you've got a couple of projects here recently that where you have given back. Tell us about those.
Yeah, well, when it comes to special needs programs, I don't charge for special needs. So here in San Antonio specifically, I work with Kinetic Kids. There's another program called Altitude All-Stars. They have a special needs team that I've gone and worked with them, and I don't charge anything for that. And then aside from that, I do work with a lot of schools and programs in areas, as a matter of fact, all over the world. All over the US, I've been in Mexico, Ireland, Scotland, all over England, Colombia, and I worked with instructors and kids and just taught them choreography.
Wow.
Here in San Antonio, Judson High School, which was a big full circle moment for me, I got to work with, and they went to their national competition and won. And that was a big deal for me, and I know that was a big deal for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I love what I do. I love working with the kids,
It shows.
and I love being the example, because I want them to know that, you're from here and you could do it too.
That's right. Well, it shows. It shows. Jacinto Rodriguez, Harlandale High School class of 2002. What a pleasure it is to get to know you better and to present your story to the community. Jacinto, I wish you well.
Thank you.
And let's do this again. Let's do an update.
Let's do it.
All right. Robert Villafranca with the Warpath Podcast. We appreciate the community for joining us today.
Linsa.
Linsa.